Today marks the 4th day of unrest, Terry.
Yes, Keisha, this has been a terrible week here in Philadelphia. Over 20 people have been killed and several hundred are in jail. What's happening to our democracy?
Can the government send in the National Guard, or are we headed for a revolution?
That's a very good question. I just don't know, Jan, what's happening.
The rebellion seems to have begun. Can we save democracy? Can we trust that our forefathers and mothers can convince the people to believe in the system once more? Will America become great again, or is this the end? Our first witness is Mr. Julius Rosenwald.
We go now to the street to Keisha Kelly. Keisha, can you tell us anything about Mr. Julius Rosenwald?
Yes, Jan. I'm here at the site of the protest, and I do have Mr. Rosenwald here. Mr. Rosenwald. Yes, Mr. Rosenwald, why must people believe in America anymore?
With me being a Jew and all the suffering that has happened to our people in these days, I must protest against this and make a difference in the world and change the world, and that's how I became a millionaire. I changed the world and made a difference.
Okay, thank you.
But you're a white man. You have more opportunities than us people of color. No justice, no peace.
That was Mr. Julius Rosenwald. Such an outstanding testimony. I think he makes a very valiant point, Terry. Thanks, Mr. Rosenwald, for believing in our nation.
Certainly, Jan. I do believe the protesters were listening and thinking about his comments. However, he still had more opportunity than most blacks.
Well, there's always room for another view. Next, we focus on a person whose views reflected those of the Harlem Renaissance and the Back to Africa movement during the early 20s. Now we welcome Mr. Marcus Garvey.
Well, back to you, Keisha. Can you tell us more about Mr. Marcus Garvey?
Okay, Mr. Garvey, how do you feel about this atmosphere that is visible in Philadelphia today?
Fellow African Americans, we have been truly mistreated for so long in the so-called democracy called America. It is now time to regroup and retreat. This system has and always has been against us. Our great people have endured such tragedy and despair, slavery, Jim Crow laws, segregation, and it continues to this very day. I, without a doubt, encourage you to depart from this racist society. America will never truly accept us as equals. It's time to return to the motherland, Africa.
Back to the motherland, back to Africa.
There you have it. Marcus Garvey wants to give up on equal treatment of African Americans in this country and go back to Africa. Is he right, or can someone convince us otherwise? I do believe we have a statement from another great historical eyewitness, Miss Harriet Tubman.
We now go back to our street reporter, Keisha Kelly. Keisha, what do we know about Miss Tubman?
Miss Harriet Tubman. Miss Tubman, what do you think about what is happening today at this protest in Philadelphia? Is democracy finished?
Finished? What you talk about, girl? This here country may have put us in chains, but this is my country. This country carried us far, far away from our mother Africa. We bled and died, but we free now. All of us is free. I helped many slaves escape to the north for what? Nothing. No, I don't think you understand. Stop with the foolishness. You people still have your freedom. The freedom to choose. This country may have chained us, but this country is our country.
Thank you, Ms. Thank you.
Wow, Terry. That was awesome. America still gives us choices, still gives us the right to choose.
Yes, Jan, I agree. I'm getting quite teary-eyed at this point.
The story continues on with more great witnesses. Next, we have a revolutionary leader who was involved in the social protest movement and Black America during the late 60s, Malcolm X.
We go back to our street reporter, Keisha Kelly. Keisha, what do we know about Mr. Malcolm X?
No justice, no peace. Malcolm X, power to the people.
Oh, Mr. X, how can you justify what is going on at this protest today?
Justify? Justice? Where is this justice? Why do we have this mess? We have chaos because the white man's refusal to accept black people as equals. We have nearly been crushed by this racist society for 3 centuries in this so-called democratic society. The founding fathers forgot to free the slaves, and we have paid for this inequality ever since. Blacks weren't supposed to be slaves until economics or money entered the scene. Chickens certainly have now come home to roost.
Thank you for your testimony, Mr. X. Back to you, Terry.
Well, enough said. Malcolm X's views seem to say that the American Democratic Republic has become too corrupt to be saved.
No justice? No peace? Does this mean blacks have never truly been a part of America? Does this mean blacks have no say in pursuing the American dream? Well, we have another witness that would like to counter that claim.
Yes, I do believe it might be over for our democracy. Keisha, let us know about our next witness.
Yes, Terry, I do believe we have Mrs. Eleanor Roosevelt here. She wants to say something. Mrs. Roosevelt, what do you think about this protest that is going on?
I find it important to tell everyone that racial discrimination is wrong, period. My husband, President Franklin Roosevelt, and I worked very hard for the rights of African Americans to be involved in American society. I personally helped the Tuskegee Airmen gain funding during World War II. Yes, have the right to protest injustice, but too many bled and died for us to give up on democracy.
Well, you hear it, Terry. Do you have anything else you'd like to add?
No one can make you feel inferior without your consent.
Thank you, Mrs. Roosevelt. Back to you, Terry.
With such a great cloud of witnesses, we now focus on a person who sought revolution and change on the streets of America during the late 60s, a true civil rights movement icon, and an engaging person, Dr. Angela Davis.
We have now up next Dr. Angela Davis. Dr. Davis, what do you feel we need to do about the unrest and how are we going to rebuild this system?
First of all, power to the people, power to the people. I came along during the 60s and was falsely accused of murder, but the people of this nation and of the world looked at my trials as a grave injustice. No, this system has been wrong at times, but I changed my radical views from destroying the system to trying to make it better. We have to talk about liberating minds as well as liberating society. Power to the people.
Yeah, power to the people. Power to the people.
Now that was interesting. I would have guessed Angela Davis would have turned on the system.
Jan, she seems to support America now.
Seems like things are changing as our cloud of witnesses become a great call to support America and begin anew with a sense of hope for tomorrow.
Well, Jan, we are nearing the end of this news report. Who can be our next witness?
Without a doubt, Dr. Martin Luther King will wrap this up. We go back to the streets to Keisha.
Thanks, Jan and Terry. With our final witness, Dr. Martin Luther King, there is no need for an introduction to this great man. Dr. King, can you tell us why we should trust in this system?
Yes, you see, today marks an important day in the lives of all Americans. We are at a crossroads. See, remember some 50 years ago I said, oppressed people cannot remain oppressed forever. The yearning for freedom eventually manifests itself. Violence as a way to achieve racial justice is both impractical and immoral. I am mindful to the fact that violence often brings about temporary results. But in spite of the temporary victories, violence never brings about permanent peace. Remember, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere.
Well, there you have it, everyone. Dr. King's message talks about making the system better, not destroying it. This has been a special report from the streets of Philadelphia. I'm Keisha Kelly. Back to you, Terry.
Thanks again, Keisha. Well, Jan, you think the system can be saved?
Certainly, Terry. We should all listen to these great people and change the system from within.
This has been Terry Jackson
and Jan Baker,
reporting from WBN's News Team. Good night.
So, there you have it from a number of historical witnesses. We as a nation must trust the people in the system to change it for the betterment of society. Without true justice, we will not know justice or know peace.
Never had one of them days wish you would've stayed home, running to a group who getting their hate on. You walk by, they get wrong. You reply, then it should get blown way out of proportion. Way past discussion, just you against them, pick one in Russia. Figure you'll get jumped here, that's next. They don't wanna stop there, now they bustin'. Now you gushing. Ambulance rushing you to the hospital with a bad concussion. Plus you hit 4 times, but it hit your spine, paralyzed way down, then your wheelchair bound. Never mind that now, you lucky to be alive. Just think it all started, you fussing with 3 guys. Know your pride in the way, but your pride is the way you can fuck around, get shot, die in the day, nigga, die every day, all over boom. Money, dice games, ordinary hood shit. Could this be cause of hip-hop music? Or did the ones with the good sense not use it? Usually, don't know what to do when they back against the wall, so they just start shooting. For red or for blue or for blow, I guess. From Bankhead up to your project. No more stress, now I'm straight.